I am 1 month away from graduating, and throughout the 4 years of my high school experience, I think I've learned a lot of stuff, not just in terms of school, but just life in general. And that in turn has caused who I am as a person overall to change a lot as well. But let's go back to the very beginning, when I first started high school in grade 9. Now in grade 9, I did not start off really well. Mind you, this was right after the pandemic, and I had no social skills whatsoever. So I didn't talk to anybody besides the people that I knew from middle school or two of my really close friends that I mainly hung around with during lunch. But even them, I didn't really talk all that much with. And with school-related activities, I didn't get involved with any. I was just so focused on something that really didn't matter at the time: gaming. Now, I still love gaming to this very day. I play a lot of games, but not to the degree that I was a gamer in grade 9. Because in grade 9, I only cared about gaming. Everything else was just the means to game. When I went to school, I wasn't paying attention to class. I was playing Clash Royale on my iPad. If I wasn't doing that, I was either watching YouTube or playing some other game. But as soon as I finished school, I would head back home, play 3 hours of games, and then go eat dinner, and then head back to gaming right after. Sometimes I would wake up early in the morning just to get a little bit of gaming because I live really close to the school. Everything didn't matter besides gaming, and I think that was what ruined my perspective and my outlook on these other things that I could have joined in on. But my perspective really shifted during that grade 9 summer when I first discovered self-improvement and really got into the gym. I tried to lock in on that, and I think I did. I lost a lot of fat. I think I looked overall better. I had a somewhat decent physique. I wouldn't say my physique was good, but it was a lot better than before, I would say. But during the summer, I locked in on that, and I made a pretty big change. And so coming back in grade 10, I wanted to join things that were solely related to the gym. Not even sports, but just weightlifting as a whole. And there were two clubs that perfectly met the description. The first one was the fitness club, which was a thing you could go into at lunch and just work out, right? But the second one was the powerlifting team, which I tried out for and I got onto. And both of these things, I didn't really feel that committed to. They were more so a means for me to just work out once again. I didn't really commit to these things. It was an in and out thing. But one of the really big changes was that now I actually spoke to people around my class that I didn't know before. I talked to them. I felt I was a lot more social, and my overall confidence level just increased. I was doing more stuff. I was getting involved with school activities regardless of the intentions with them. And I think that overall made my desire to get in the school culture and community a little more. So grade 10 was the beginning where I actually started getting involved with school stuff. But fast forward to grade 11, the summer I didn't do all that much stuff. I went to the summer camp, which was pretty fun, but that's not for this video. But let's move on to grade 11. Grade 11, I would say, was the year that I was the most involved with school activity and just school stuff in general. I found myself joining an extra team this year, so I was on 2 different teams, and I was still a very reputable member at the fitness club. But I also went on a couple school trips, my very first high school trip too, and I made a lot of memories. Things that I would constantly remember during this year. The 2 meets that I went to, the 2 meets I competed at. One regional meet for my powerlifting team, which I won 3rd place at, and my second swim competitive meet where I didn't do all that well, but I was kind of just there to cheer on some of the guys that I really cared for. I also went on the ski and snowboard trip at my school, which was probably the most fun I've had in a while in grade 11. It was such a memorable experience and I just had so much fun being there. And this was when I actually realized getting involved and doing stuff was worth it. It was worth the effort. I always thought that putting in this extra work, putting in this extra effort wasn't worth it. I constantly made excuses in my mind that, oh, these people are doing this because, well, I don't know. I made up things in my mind to make myself feel better for being a loner and sitting there and thinking that the grind is all that matters. But in reality, It's not all that matters. It does matter, but you also gotta find that balance. You find that in-between space where you have fun, get involved, and do stuff with people that you like, people that you care for, and people that you love. And grade 11 really taught me that. But now moving forward into grade 12, I didn't really do all that much stuff since I had to really lock in on school and make sure that my uni applications were the best they possibly could have been. But honestly, in the end, I don't think I really needed to strive that hard because the 2 top schools that I was really working hard for, I got rejected by anyway, so that's something that just happened. But regardless, in grade 12, I still tried to be involved with the stuff that I really wanted to be involved for. So I was still a big member of the fitness club. I would say I was the stand-in president. I wasn't officially the president that had all the paperwork and stuff, but I was the person that was always there, help some of the juniors out and show them around the gym a little bit and taught them how to work out basically. And the second thing was the snowboard and ski trip. What am I saying? I also went on that again, which was also pretty fun, but not as fun because a lot of the guys I really want to go with couldn't go for their own reasons. That's besides the point. But I really want to focus on what I learned in grade 11 because that's the point of me making this video. I know that some of you watching are probably just starting high school. Maybe you're grade 10, 13, 14. I need you to get this through your head. I'm sure your parents have said this over and over, and maybe your teachers that you have right now have been telling you this over and over and over, but you gotta do stuff. You gotta do more stuff. I don't care if you're just in high school or you're almost finishing high school. There's still time. You still have time to do more stuff. It doesn't have to just be school involved and things set up by the school, but do dumb things with friends from school. Get to know people from your school so you can actually make those really, really fun memories. People to connect with, people to talk about, or people to talk with, and people to make these things that are valuable, that will teach you things later on, or things that you can just look back on with all sorts of emotion, nostalgia, happiness, sadness, cringe, whatever it is. Make these memories. And I know this sounds corny. I know you've heard this over and over and over, and you're probably sick and tired of hearing it since it's from your parents, but I'm saying it because I'm not that far away from your age. I'm 17. But if a 17-year-old is telling you this, there's gotta be a little truth, because 17-year-olds are kind of stubborn, especially me. I struggle to take things in that I believe already. And before, I believed very, very strongly that doing stuff was a waste of my time, but it really wasn't. So take time out of your day. Do it just because you can. You're given a privilege, you're given this chance, you're given opportunities to get involved, to have fun, to make memories. Memories that will last forever, and things you can tell to your kids in the future. These funny dad stories that you can tell to your kids, your grandkids too even. So truly, don't feel that doing stuff is a waste of your time, because it isn't. Don't make excuses in your head that these things aren't really worth it or you're not actually that interested in them. Because if you have some sort of interest, some sort of feeling that makes you want to find out a little bit more about this stuff, go for it. Do it. Because in the end, even if it turns out badly, it's a learning experience. You learn something new, you maybe develop something new. But if it turns out well, those memories, those moments are invaluable. So please, listen to what I'm saying here. I don't want to sound like your mom or your dad, but I'm really trying to just speak to you as another guy in high school. A person that might be a little older or maybe a little younger, but just someone trying to tell you and give you a little advice regardless. But yeah, I hope you found something helpful from that or something interesting from that. But besides that, that's really about it for me. So I do appreciate you for sticking to the end here. But yeah, just stay consistent, stay disciplined, and keep on building that relationship with God. All right? Give me a kiss. Mwah.